My name is Fred Mednick. I am thrilled to be in the company of others to help kick off the Blanka Talks with a short story illustrating the theme of the important teacher. I founded Teachers Without Borders in 2000 to connect teachers to information and each other in order to close the education divide. We work in girls' education, peace and human rights education, and education in emergencies. Of all the things I have learned, two things come to mind. The first is that brains are evenly distributed throughout the world, not just in the West. And the second is that leaders aren't born or made, they show up. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to Solmaz Mohajer to describe a brain with a heart of gold who showed up when we needed her the most. Here's what happened. Teachers Without Borders had finished up for the year teaching inquiry science methods to middle school teachers in China. Soon afterwards, the May 12, 2008 earthquake, registering 7.9 on the Richter scale, struck Sichuan province. Children died in their seats, and as it turned out, 50% of all children who die in earthquakes perish at school. These were tofu buildings, the teacher had said. Shoddy materials, no reinforcements, squishy. And I saw this up close. 8-story classrooms without stairways, stairways without classrooms. Makeshift shrines constructed by grieving parents, day packs strewn everywhere. The director of education had been warning his superiors that this might happen, and during his tenure, the building construction he had personally supervised remained fully intact. We toured the devastation, and he asked me, look, let's switch from inquiry science to earthquake science and safety. I turned to the TWB network and found Solmaz, who was a TWB member and a geologist from Iran. She had been developing a prevention and planning program in earthquake science. And after having conducted this GPS geodesy in Pakistan and India and Tajikistan as a grad student, Solmaz pointed out that shallow earthquakes, populated areas, unreinforced buildings, and no earthquake education easily turn a natural disaster into a national catastrophe. In Tajikistan, Solmaz had asked the children, what causes earthquakes?
فکر میکنی چرا زمین میجنبه؟
یک جاداری است که وای به مثل حیوان است اگر وای جنبد زمین جنبی میشه
یک خلاص میگن که مثلا در تک زمین یک گل.
The challenge for Solmaz was always to seize upon the stories as an opportunity for scientific exploration. She had no intention of dispelling adopted beliefs or taking the bull by its proverbial horns, but on enabling children to learn about what happens next. She spoke their language and she used props. Replicate the low and high frequencies of vibrating waves. And most of all, her students began to think like scientists. They made predictions and tested them. They examined various variables to see if there's an experiment outcome. They collected and recorded and interpreted and evaluated the results in small groups. And they identified hazards and they practiced drills. And Solmaz did this in one seismically vulnerable and poor community and country after another. The program spread to Haiti, Afghanistan, India, Russia, Pakistan, has been translated into 7 languages to fit the geology and culture and classrooms of each region. Most of all, with Solmaz, the students were not only thinking scientifically, they were becoming activists. They were becoming important students. So Solmaz is someone addressing an educational fault line that represents a difference between life and death. And like the best of teachers, she wasn't born or made. She simply showed up. Enjoy yourselves, everyone. This sounds like a fantastic series for the voice of teachers.